the Jewish Historical Society looks at the community of which it's a part, and looks at where there needs to be more attention. There needs to be some collection of our history that complements everything else, the synagogues and the schools and all the other organizations.
So tell me about the Sixth Generation of Family Trees project, which you were the leader of.
Well, it was really interesting. You know, we found people and asked them their histories, and one led to another. And there are a lot of people in Seattle who've been here for that many years. Mm-hmm. And so we interviewed them and we got all the information, and you have the copy of it. Mm-hmm. I have that here. And, you know, I have 6 generations on both sides of my family. Mm-hmm. My mother's side and my father's side. Not, my husband didn't have that many generations on his side. But it was really interesting. And then we found a place to do it, to show it. Mm-hmm. And got a lot of people coming. It was wonderful.
The Reform movement teaches of being open, and every human being is incredible, and every human being is worth it. And we are all together in this world, and we all need to help each other, and it's not just about us. And that's what camp teaches. Camp teaches people to be their authentic selves. There's so many kids out there who, don't know where they're going, or who may have, different genders and different and are trying to figure out who they are. And when they get to camp, they feel so empowered to be who they are.
And I think we're such a small community in general that when there are lots of different organizations affiliated with being Jewish, people's attention and people's priorities get pulled in too many places. And I think, this is not necessarily on the subject of oral histories, but I just think in general, from a Washington State Jewish community perspective, that I'd love to talk about, and maybe in future interviews and future oral histories, understand the broad scope of how Jews have participated in different organizations or organizations. Like, I have a different view, and I think I've done very much similar to my dad and my mom, like done USY, they did BBYO or BBG. I think I followed their suit very well, but I'd love to understand, how do people engage with Jewish organizations, from my parents' generation to my generation? Because I know, at least for me, it's very different. And for me and my sister, it's very different than what it was for my parents.
I contacted the Washington State Jewish Historical Society, not so much to preserve my story, but the story of the Seattle Jewish seniors. This unique and special group had a great influence on much of the latter part of my life.
Nothing makes me sadder than, I have a drawer of photos from my mother has also passed, and my grandparents. I don't know who everybody is in them. And it's just so sad, because do you keep a photo that you don't know who's in it? Or so making sure that we have access to the people who still remember while they're here, so that we can pass down either family history, world history, whatever level of history it is something that I feel very deeply. And I think part of that is because I lost my mom 20 years ago. So I feel like I lost part of my own history. And when I ask my dad today questions, people are like, oh, I don't remember, or that would have been your mother would have known that, or things like that.
Well, now I can tell you I'm deeply involved in the fight against anti-Semitism. I won't go, I don't need to go into all of the details, but this is a fight we all have. Those of us who are unfortunately now senior members of the community, and even though my mom was still with us, as you met her, I am sort of that part of that group now. I'm either the oldest part of the next generation or the youngest part of this one. And this has happened on our watch. and we need to do something about it. It's on us. Now, we can't solve it all by ourselves, but we need to be actively engaged in trying to solve these issues.
I taught in Hebrew High for over 30 years. And one of the most rewarding things is being able to officiate at the wedding of former students, and to officiate at the bar mitzvah of the child of former students. And then someone pops into the shul for just moved to Mercer Island, and I did, and a couple, and one of them looks vaguely familiar, and one of them does not. And I go over and speak to them, find out, she was in my class, or he was in my class in Hebrew High, and now they're thinking of joining the synagogue. So that continuity really is extremely rewarding, very rewarding.